Main objective of Picalike is to combine computer vision with fashion experts to create the best recommendation engine for fashion companies.
Especially our developers, they're always like working in the night, and it's like, I don't know why.
I know why, because no one's going to bother you at 2 in the morning. As a CEO, you can't be in charge of everything anymore. You can't be part of everything anymore, but you still need to be informed about everything, and you try to make good decisions.
So Picalike is now like 12 years old. Did you had like a point where you had the feeling when it's like changing a bit from a startup atmosphere or working style to the point that you're like more grown up company, especially?
The more the company grows, the more structure you need. If you're just a small team of 4 persons, you can sit on a desk and just decide everything by talking to each other. When you're a person of nearly 30 people, then it's a bit more complicated.
BotTalk podcast.
Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Startup Story. And today our guest is Sebastian from Picalike, and he's also going to talk about what they're actually doing. So this company exists a bit longer, so around 12 years. That's why it's also now today pretty interesting to see after maybe a bit longer when you're existing, how maybe the company was changing from the beginning now and till now. But maybe first you're going to start a bit, tell a bit about you and what are you actually doing.
So my name is Sebastian Kielmann. I'm the founder and CEO from Picalike. Main objective of Picalike is to combine computer vision with fashion experts to create the best recommendation engine for fashion companies, so that we try to understand what is the taste of the end consumer and recommend the best matching fashion from a fashion store to the end consumer by extracting information from the image. So it's not what someone is typing into their back-end system, but what we see is what the customer is seeing, so that we can work in a language-independent version. So it doesn't matter if the person is talking German or English, the information is on the image. And yeah, so that's mainly what we are doing. I myself, I'm half Brazilian, half German. I founded the company 12 years ago. I studied economics in England, even though I have a bit of more an American accent instead of an English accent. But I always worked as a developer. Since my 16th birthday, it was always easier to find a job as a developer than as working in a bar or something. And as a student at university, it was more flexible. When do you work and when do you go to the studies? At that time, it wasn't a remote work as it's now, but the customers didn't care if I was working at 2 in the morning. They just want to get the websites done.
Yeah, that's right. This could directly say also in our company, especially our developers, they're always like working in the night, and it's like, I don't know why they're preferring just the night times, but it's for them also like more comfortable. And this is like also like the good advantage maybe in like a tech startup or like an IT company, that you're like super flexible in your like working times.
I know why, because no one's going to bother you at 2 in the morning. That's why you choose to work at that time. You know, else you're going to get some Slack messages, emails, and whatever. And when you're working very concentrated, trying to find a solution to some big problem, you really don't want people calling you. So that's what main reason why even I like to work at night, because you're more, you can concentrate on something without anyone trying to get in touch with
That's completely understandable. Now I also get the point why they are all doing it.
Sure.
Because then you just have your quiet time and you don't need to care like checking mails or something if something is popping up urgent or so.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, maybe so Picalike is now like 12 years old. Did you had like a point where you had the feeling when it's like from a changing a bit from a startup atmosphere, working style, to the point that you're like more grown-up company, especially? Was there something you would say, or do you say like, no, we're like still like a more dynamic, smaller team or something?
It depends on how you tend to see a startup. So it definitely, the more the company grows, the more structure you need. If you're just a small team of 4 persons, you can sit on a desk and just decide everything by talking to each other. When you're a person of nearly 30 people, then it's a bit more complicated because you have different teams. We have half or more than half of the technical team is now in Brazil, and the other part is in Germany, and you need to have overlapping time so that they can talk to each other. And you don't want junior developers screwing up all the work the senior developers have done a week ago, so you have all those versioning systems, you have to have different 4I principles, so multiple people have to review the code before it goes online. You have all those other processes. When you have more people in your marketing team, you need them to get in touch with each other, synchronize everything together so that you have from the beginning, from the sales up to the customer, everything aligned. This is easier when you're a small company with just a few people. The more people you have, the more cultural problems you might find, the more bureaucracy you will need. You will need people to say that they're in charge of something. As a CEO, you can't be in charge of everything anymore. You can't be part of everything anymore, but you still need to be informed about everything, and you try to make good decisions or help the team to make their decisions. Mm-hmm. But it changes. I would say like the hard cut is 20. When you get to over 20 people in your company, you're spending more time managing people than before 20. Like 22nd person, you see like a peak that you're investing a lot more time with the complete team, talking to everyone, trying to find out what every certain person in the team needs, how you can help them. While when you're just like 15 people, it's quite easier. I don't know why, but I have the feeling that like 20 is the cut. You step over 20, you start thinking about, I need someone for the HR. But when you're 20, you don't have enough work for someone in the HR, yeah. And so you have to see that you get to 50 people. Over 50, I would say, then you're at the moment where you might need someone for the HR.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, your role from the beginning till now like completely changes because of the tasks you're actually doing. In the beginning, maybe you said you were a developer, so you started yourself. I would suggest think that you...
I started the company doing everything. I developed the first version, I was doing the sales, I was trying to do the marketing, the networking, going to presentations, doing everything. In the beginning you think that this is a really good solution because you're not spending so much money for the whole team. But at the end, it means that you're doing everything a bit. And for the beginning it might be okay, but when the company starts growing, you can't be doing a bit of everything. You need to have people doing the whole thing right for each task. And so I started developing it, doing the marketing, and then you start finding people who help you develop it. Then you find people to help you on the marketing, and then you start trying to help the people from the development. Then you start helping people from the marketing. So after a certain point, the role changes. So people are not helping you. You start trying to help the people. And after a while, you start concentrating more on management stuff, which I wouldn't say is something that every startup people wants to do. After we had the discussion a few years ago if we wanted to get an employed CEO. someone who likes to do the management, and so that I can still concentrate on doing technology, machine learning, and so on. But at the end, we decided that I would continue doing it and finding experts for the machine learning part.
Okay, yeah, pretty interesting that you said like now your role was completely changing and that like your part was like that you're more managing now the people. But was it like a bit complicated for you when you like say, okay, I'm like more the development person, but I would like to go now more in the CEO role, like managing the people, so I can also like create maybe the vision of my company, which I define. So what was actually the points that you said, okay, no, I don't want to like hire a CEO for it. I still want to do it on myself. So maybe
exactly what you said. It's all about the vision. I didn't think that, or me and my partners, we didn't think that hiring someone to do the CEO part would continue the vision that we have, where the company would go. And so we rather decided to get people to manage the different departments and different teams, and keeping me as a CEO for the vision, where we want to go, continue growing the company, continue our internationalization. Not only international customers, but international team support, because in Germany it's quite hard to find people at the moment. It doesn't matter which part. And so we said, okay, let's internationalize on both ends. We are focusing more on international customers and growing a bit out from Germany, and at the same time growing with the team out of Germany. But it all began a bit with Corona. Like a lot of the startups might start the story with when Corona came. We had an office in the Rotenbaumchaussee, which is it's close to the university here in Hamburg, and it's one of the more expensive parts. And then came Corona, and so we switched to a co-working space, something that I never wanted. We switched to home office, something that I never liked, and we have remote work, which I expected to fail. 3 years ago, when if before Corona came and said, Sebastian, how about going to a co-working space, having people from Germany to work in the home office and getting some developers in Brazil, I would say no. But through Corona, we were forced to go in this new work area. And today I have to say it was one of the best experiments that we made. People are better motivated. It's easier to try new ways of work. It's better to rely on your people than put them on really hard working environments.
Yeah, this is exactly, it is discussion at the moment that like most of the companies said, no, I'm not able to trust my employees when they're just working from home and somewhere else in the world. But I think like Corona changes like completely, because then they were like in the situation that they need to do this now with this new work models, and they don't have any reasons why they don't want to try it out at the moment. So would you say that this way that Corona pushed you in this situation, that you like the most of it were just like an advantage and like a valuable thing what you made with this? Or would you say like maybe we need some work in the office and some remote, so we need to find a middle ways if it's not like one extreme to another?
We had to learn some hard lessons. It's not just like, okay, it's not plug and play. You decide to get people to work remote and it works. We had some fuck-ups, people who they disconnected their camera and were in a meeting, and then when no one was talking, you could hear them snore. So you knew, okay, this guy is gonna get fired because he's just sleeping during a meeting. So we had to create a lot of rules and culture for this type of work. You have to have a bigger. You have to rely on your people. You have and you have to tell them that if certain things happen, we're not going to talk about, oh, did this happen? You're just going to get fired. It's just don't do it. It's just don't do it. That's what we expect people to know from the company's culture. But from people that I know from other startups and from other companies, it's not. A lot of people like we were forced to go into this home office remote work. We saw that it's even though it's not perfect, it helps. Like one of the downsides is you have less social. You don't have the kitchen talk. People going in there and say, hey, how are you doing? You have very effective meetings. But making it very effective means also that there is no social part in a meeting. People are coming in, they're telling their problems. You find a solution and they're gone. Yeah. You don't know what happened before, you don't know what happens after. So it happened that you have a meeting and someone is just not feeling very well or is upset about something. You make a joke and the person is really upset. It's like furious and just goes out of your conversation because you didn't know that this person had, I don't know, a bad morning. Something happened. And they're not going to go into a video call and say, oh, I'm totally stressed. Please don't make stupid jokes. Like no one starts like this. Now they just say, hey, good morning. And sometimes people come into a meeting and you don't even see them depending on which video conference tool you're using. You see is online. And then you make a joke and then bloop, person left. And then you have to ask why. And say, yeah, I didn't like the joke and what. So you don't know the story before, you don't know the story after a meeting. You're losing a lot of the connection, and it's harder to get a we feeling into a company. Saying people to know that they're in a team and not doing just a job. So on this remote work, you get the problems of a corporate, even though when you're like just 20 in a team, because in a corporate company with like 5,000 employees, they don't know each other. And working remote, you just don't have the kitchen talk. You don't go into the office and go, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, you're new. Hey, my name is Sebastian. What are you doing here? Oh, fine, good work. See you later. And then you go on. And it's hard to get to know each other. Not only what the person knows, like what are the skills that the person has, but who is this person? Yeah. And this makes it, even for a smaller team, more complicated. And because everything is more anonymous, and this is more of a copy of a problem you have on big teams and big corporates. But for this is also a solution, like having a monthly get-together breaks the ice a bit, gives an insight into everyone. And what we do is we have more time before the meeting. So we try to get something about 5 and 10 minutes for the meetings, have some time after the meeting, just to have some jokes, to have some ice-breaking questions, letting people know each other.
Yeah, that's right. So for me, like I know like all the skills which my team has and what they are actually doing and which time and what they are good in, but I don't know which hobbies they have, for example. So this is like super complicated. Just to come to this point that your team knows each other also on another level than just like this business level meeting and then okay, bye, have a nice day, and that's it. So you're just having like this normal question in the beginning. Oh, everything is fine. Yes. Okay, perfect. Then we can start. So this is like, I think then you just need to find ways that you can combine actually these two words in each other.
Yeah, this is a process we are also learning on how to get more we inside of remote.
Yeah, right. So yeah, thank you for the introduction. So for the remote words, but maybe is there another like challenge you've gone through this last 12 years?
Sure. I would say, so the first lesson we learned when we founded the company is that just because we thought that our product was ready for the market, doesn't mean the market is ready for your product. So when we started, machine learning and image recognition wasn't hype. So you go there and you pitch your product and people say like, no. But it works. No, we have never seen machine learning work. And 2 years later, 2010, we founded. 2012 was like the start of this machine learning era where you have Siri and Alexa and Tesla and self-driving cars and self-flying drones and all this. And suddenly you're hype. You're just there where everything is interesting and wow, your machine knows what people are looking for products. Your machine can create outfits. This is so awesome. From the same person that maybe 2 years ago said, I don't really care. So you have to know if your timing is everything. So there were platforms just before YouTube, and there wasn't this video integration into the browser, so you had to download something, made it harder, so that's why other platforms failed. And for nearly everything that already exists, there is someone doing the timing right. And I think this is like what gives you an extra. So when we start, if I would start a new startup, I would check if my timing is correct.
Yeah, if the market is ready for
if the market is ready for what you want to put into the market, or else you will be putting something into the market, you will be burning contacts and effort for people saying we're not ready for it. On the other side, you never know. Maybe you're the person who's making this market ready for it. But you have to know that sometimes you think that your product is really awesome and it's just market ready, but other people might not understand what you're trying.
Yeah, you always need to figure out actually if like other person's also seeing it, like what you see, or like you say now, okay, we have like this nice product, but maybe a company said, okay, yeah, this is pretty good what you're making, but in 2 years we are also on this point that we're going to use it. So this first like target group or person or customers to find, I think this is always like the trickiest part when you're starting.
Yeah, exactly. So one tip I always give to startuppers is that when you're starting with something very innovative, I would suggest to even try to pitch it to the largest audience you can find, like doing 20 pitches a day. You will get really, really high amount of people saying, I don't want it. Because innovation is not something everyone wants, but innovation is something that some special people are ready to start using. But to find them, this is the hard job. So maybe just 1% of the people you're going to be talking to are open enough to try something totally new. And when they did it and they find they're going to be like the people pushing you to the next level, they say, this is really good, it worked for me. And they're going to be open enough to tell others that this really worked for them. They will give you references, they will introduce you to other people, and then things are gonna start rolling. And the people you talk, so don't be afraid of talking to a lot of people and getting a lot of no. Because people who are gonna give you a no, they won't remember you when you come a year or two later to pitch it again, and they're saying a yes. Because when they just see, oh, this is really new, I don't want to touch it, I'm afraid this is gonna cost my job or whatever, they're just gonna throw it away from their list, and they're gonna forget about it. It's really rare that people come, oh yeah, you came 2 years ago and presented this was really new, and I didn't like it at that moment, but now it's the perfect time. I've never seen this. They're gonna say, oh, why didn't you come earlier? You're not gonna say I did. But this is what the reality is. You might have already pitched it. They didn't have the time or the interest at that moment, they're gonna forget about you, pitch it again. It's not gonna. So sales is like the hardest job, and this is something that a lot of startups that I have been getting to know in the past 12 years, they're really technology driven. And you have a really good tech guy, you have a system guy, you have machine learning guy, and you have no one for sales. So you have to focus also on this part, because this is gonna keep your company alive while you're trying to grow it.
Yeah, sure, because like otherwise when you don't have any customers, it's not gonna working out. And also as you said, like with this, like keep pitching it, I also have like this experience when I just started with BotTalk. Before we had like contact to lots of companies, and then I get in contact again with them, and I was like, yeah, okay, we already know you. I have your name on our sales tool, and then they're like, oh no, I didn't actually know that we were in contact with you or with the company. And so this is also we experience always, and now I never tell them that we were in contact before. I just starting again, telling what we're doing and like how we improve and all the stuff, and then just keeping again and try to lead this customer actually.
Yeah, it's it's a tiresome job that needs to be made.
That's right, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Sebastian, for all your insights from your last 12 years sharing us with us. I hope you liked it also. And of course, check out Picalike, what they're doing, and we see us next week again. Thank you.